Good afternoon, Mrs. Hesselbein. I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. Before we get started, congratulations on your being named as the Class of 1951 Leadership Chair in the Department of Behavioral Sciences at West Point.
I'm deeply honored. It's one of the greatest honors a civilian could have in our country. And I am very grateful.
We certainly appreciate having you here, ma'am. We're very excited about having you as part of the West Point family for the next 2 years. To begin, I wanted to ask you about something you're very passionate about, and that's service. You've chosen as your mantra the phrase, "To serve is to live." What does this mean to you, and why do you think this is something that cadets should strive to live by?
Well, we're placed on this earth. I believe we're placed on this earth to serve. It's not about us. It's what do we do with our lives? And when we look around from the time we're very young until we leave, living just for oneself is a very shallow, rather sad way to live. To serve is to live, so we look around us. Think of what we have been given as Americans. We're born, I think we're born to serve. How can we make it a better country? How can we work to help people who deserve support? How can we, in our own way, sustain the democracy? I think that's what citizens are called to do. Some people work with children. Other people work with people who are ill. Other people, all of us who feel we're called to serve, we find a way to make it a better place for everyone. So what excites me about to serve is to live is on college and university campuses and at West Point. You say to this generation of young men and women, to serve is to live, and they say, well, of course. They take it for granted that this is part of why we're here. It's very inspiring to me. That's why I spend a third of my time on college and university campuses, and now 2 marvelous years as part of the West Point family.
Yes, ma'am. How can we as cadets serve during our time here at the Academy?
As you prepare to serve in the most significant way, any of us in this country, our young people who come into the military, are making the greatest contribution. Now, as you're preparing for 2, 3, 4 years from now, and then for a long and wonderful career of service, there are many ways. Some of us mentor younger cadets or students. Some of us who have a few hours sometimes help young children learn to read. There are all kinds of small ways we can find to help others. And because in the end, your career that you have chosen sustains the democracy. That's the big picture. And day to day, we find small ways to give other people hope, encouragement, support.
Yes, ma'am. You've come into your position as a class of 51 chair with some very specific goals, one of which is to engage cadets and great thought leaders in strengthening their commitment to sustaining the democracy.
Yes.
What do you see as cadets' role in sustaining the democracy?
Well, you preface that with what I hope to accomplish here. Engage cadets. That doesn't mean talk at them. It means engaging. And while in these 2 years, I hope there will be times when I bring on to the West Point campus a great thought leader, a great business leader, an acknowledged, principled, ethical, highly successful leader in his or her field. Instead of my coming alone, we're going to sit like this. One person who is eager to come is Jim Collins. His book Good to Great, and most recently How the Mighty Fall. When I said, would you go to West Point with me? It's well, yes, give me the dates. I want to get the date on my calendar. It's interesting how several great authors of recent books on leadership, when they've written to me or called me, congratulating me, and then saying, how can I help? Could I go with you? So we're going to do some exciting things, but engage is the word. Engaging. If we have a Jim Collins, the cadets will be talking to him, having a discussion, a dialogue. I think leadership dialogues can be very powerful, especially when they're not speaking theory, the life they're living.
Yes, ma'am. You've accomplished a great deal in your life this far. As cadets, we're encouraged to seek out and establish a relationship with a mentor to help make both personal and career decisions as we endeavor to excel in our own lives and in service in our chosen profession. Did you have a mentor you've relied on as you've progressed through your esteemed career?
First, may I say that mentoring is circular. The mentor learns as much as the person he or she is mentoring. Some people think it's, the great voice, the great authority helping. No, it's circular. And I think we've all had mentors and should acknowledge them. And then all of us who are in my position, all of us who are out there in all three sectors, we should be mentoring younger people. And if we're not, I don't want to hear I'm too busy. No, it's a very important part of life and leading. My grandmother had the greatest influence upon my life, both as a person and as a leader. Later years, when I was CEO of the Girl Scouts of the USA, I had three people who were three of the greatest thought leaders, voices for good. One was Peter Drucker, one was John Gardner, one was Warren Bennis. And they all were remarkably successful authors, but beyond the books. They lived lives of, they were ethical and productive, and they believed in inclusion.